Hey guys, so Faunalytics, I love Faunalytics by the way, you should definitely check them out and follow them on Twitter. They do amazing work for the animals. They shared this piece called Drake has ditched meat but could do more for the animals. And I just tweeted that, like, I'm not really a fan of this. They didn't have anything to do with the piece. They were just retweeting it. It's an opinion piece for The Star written by Jessica Scott Reed, who is an animal advocate. Yeah, it's one of those things where I agree overall. I mean, it's something I say a lot on the channel that we can all do more. So like, yeah, Drake could do more. Of course he could. And in this article in particular, they're focusing on his association, his partnership with Canada Goose. It's an outerwear company. They sell products made with leather, fur, down. Animal activists have been protesting Canada Goose for years, in part for its use of fur from coyotes caught in leg hold traps, which is standard practice under the misnomer Agreement of International Humane Trapping Standards that the company boasts about in its fur and down policy. The practice permits coyotes to be trapped by the leg, leaving them indefensible against other animals and in a state of panic and pain, often leading to leg injuries or even limbs being chewed off. So again, this piece from Jessica Scott Reed, she's agreeing with various animal rights groups like PETA that have said, hey, Drake, it's really cool that you're vegetarian now, maybe even vegan. He might be vegan, not sure. That's really cool, but you could do more by maybe ending your partnership with Canada Goose. And yeah, sure, like that would be a cool thing for him to do. That would be doing more. But is it good to say that? So a big focus on my channel is not just being right, but it's also looking at thinking about the consequences of our rightness, so to say, thinking about the consequences of what we say. So you may be right in saying that, like, yeah, Drake, that's cool that you're a vegetarian or even vegan, that's awesome, but you can do more. Even if you say it in the nicest way possible, and this opinion piece is fine. It's not angry or anything like that. It's written just fine. And a lot of even the PETA stuff is written fine. But at the end of the day, no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that they can do more. And I think it always comes across, no matter how nice you say it, yeah, that's great, but you could do more. It's always got that tinge of like, I'm better than you. And I don't think there's anything you can really do about that. I don't think there's any perfect way to say it without people feeling defensive. Even vegans, and I have a couple examples here. So this was a response I did a while ago to this article called Not Vegan Enough, I think. And it was this vegan lamenting the fact that she posted something, I think, to Instagram, something about eating Oreos for breakfast. And so some people were like, oh, well, Oreos have palm in them and that's really destructive. So I kind of criticized her piece on this because I thought she was being defensive and a little bit childish in her response. She was kind of angry at the people for essentially telling her, yeah, that's great, but you can do better. And so I was kind of defending the people who were saying, hey, yeah, that has palm oil in it and it's destructive. I get it. Bone char equals bad, palm oil equals bad, GMOs equal bad. But here's the catch. Gasoline equals bad, coal equals bad, slave labor equals bad, pollution equals bad. I feel like I've heard this argument before. Meat equals bad, milk equals bad, eggs equals bad. But here's the catch. Gasoline equals bad, coal equals bad, slave labor equals bad, pollution equals bad. The no one is perfect, so we might as well not even try argument. It's one vegans hear a lot, so it's rather surprising hearing it actually used by a vegan, someone who's probably rolled her eyes more than once at non-vegans using the same argument. But I also said, again, that like it's hard for anyone, including vegans, to hear that kind of thing. Maybe it's just human nature to get defensive when someone points out something that we may be doing wrong, no matter how benignly they point it out. As Hank Green talked about in his recent video, why vegetarians are annoying. We're annoying because we're right. We don't even have to be preachy about it. Just being open, talking openly about animal ethics puts people on the defensive. Obviously, vegans are not immune to this. I think even especially vegans, because we already feel like we're doing so much and we're doing such a good thing by being vegan. And then someone comes along and they're like, yeah, but. The other example I wanted to talk about, a much more recent example, was the rice video that I put out that turned out to be quite controversial. I'm so surprised of all the videos I've put out. I think that has one of the worst ratios. It's super funny. And I'm just saying, like, hey, rice isn't like the best food you can eat. That's it. But people took it quite seriously. Not everyone, obviously. A lot of people made jokes, and that's great. But some people were quite upset that I was saying that a whole plant food maybe isn't the best food. It's not such a great food for various reasons. And it was interesting because the types of arguments that these vegans were using were the same arguments that meat eaters use for still consuming meat, right? Their argument that like, I consume meat because of this. They were using the exact same arguments. All you had to do was replace rice with meat, and it was the same argument. And in fact, someone pointed this out. I'll share that here if I can find that comment. But so again, my rice video, I was just talking about rice and, why I don't consume a lot of rice. And even though I never said in the video, hey, you shouldn't consume rice, and if you do, well, you can do better. I didn't have that sort of tone or anything. People still got kind of offended and very defensive about rice and about consuming rice. So again, I think this is just kind of human nature, really. We don't want someone telling us that you can do better, no matter how nice they say it. Now, there is a distinction because I often, again, I think I already mentioned this, but I often talk on the channel about doing better and we can all do better. But I think there's a huge difference between saying we can all do better, especially as vegans. I think that can be really important to say because a lot of non-vegans feel, again, this sort of moral superiority coming from us as if we're saying we're so much better than you and we're so perfect. And I think it can be kind of disarming, and I think it can change the conversation a little bit and just kind of remove that level of animosity that doesn't need to be there. If we just say like, oh yeah, there are things I could be doing better. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm just saying that maybe eating meat is not such a great thing. Maybe eating animal products is not such a great thing for animals, for the planet, even for our health in a lot of cases. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, just saying that this is something that's really important. And yeah, absolutely, there are things that I can do better. So I think saying that we can all do better is really important, but that's a far cry from saying you personally, you, Drake, Jimmy from Degrassi, you can do better. So again, to wrap it up, I agree overall with the article that, yeah, sure, it would be better if he did end his partnership with Canada Goose, but I'm not sure that it's super useful to say it. You know what I mean? The reality is, if he's already vegetarian and he's going vegan and he's thinking about things, he already sees the problem with having this partnership and he's going to end it or not. I'm not sure that putting out these pieces, and there are a lot of pieces about it, The Star is not the only one talking about this, I'm not sure that that's going to move him. And also, look, this isn't just, this isn't a small issue for him. It's not like a normal person where it's like, oh, you eat a vegan diet, but you're wearing leather shoes or you're still buying leather or something. It's like, okay, like maybe don't buy the leather anymore. This is something that he makes money from. That's a much bigger deal and a harder thing to just end, right? So it's much more than just on a consumer level, hey, maybe stop buying that. It's like, hey, you should stop doing this thing that probably makes you a lot of money, although Drake already makes an insane amount of money, sure, but still. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, leave your comments and questions and stuff down below. And if you want to subscribe, that's super cool. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. Thank you again, and I will have a new video very soon. He will always be Jimmy from Degrassi for me. I was way too old to watch that show, but for some reason, I got so sucked into it for like a year, I think. Why? It's so bad. And when I heard about Drake, because I haven't paid attention to like popular music in a really long time, but I'd hear songs just randomly, and I think I saw him and people were calling him Drake, and I was like, God, he looks so familiar. Who is this guy? I've seen him before. And then it dawned on me, or someone told me, like, dude, it's the kid from Degrassi, the one who gets shot and ends up in the wheelchair. What? And the funny thing is, that's like the only thing I remember from that show. I can't tell you any other character's name. I can't tell you any other like plot point in the show or like relationships among the kids. That's the only thing I remember is him getting shot. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I don't word it like that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you have any comments or questions about this, I would love to hear them in the comment section. That's where you put them. Jesus.